Kausap naman natin ang Enterprise Strategy Lead for Southeast Asia ng Meltwater na si Weldon Fung. Good afternoon, Weldon. Welcome to Bilang Pilipino 2025.
It's great to be here. Thank you very much.
So tell us more about Meltwater and what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Meltwater is known as the global leader in media intelligence and social listening. Fundamentally, what we do is we collect publicly available social media data through our partners such as Meta, so that'd be Facebook, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, and other sources like forums and etc. And once we gather all that data, we use our proprietary AIs and large language models to really start to uncover trends, insights, and narratives that are happening in the online space in a matter of seconds, really.
Okay. In an election coverage like this, how significant is all these intelligence that you uncover?
I think it's really important, actually. I think if you take a look at it on a global trend-wise, we've had quite a few elections across Asia Pacific as well. And one of the things that we notice is the dynamism and the conversations and the public discourse is all happening on the social space. I think it's particularly more important in a market like the Philippines. Main reason is if you had taken a look at our global digital report, which is launched every year with We Are Social and Kepios, you'll notice that the Philippines over-indexes in the number of hours spent on social media, over 3.5 hours, right? And that's number 4 globally, worldwide. On top of that, a 78% penetration of population into social media as well, which is really high considering the size of the population as well. So if you have a smartphone, you're essentially on social media. And one of the things we know about the Philippines is people like to contribute. And the Filipinos over-index on contribution and engagement on social media as well. So we're getting real insights and feedback and discourse on these platforms, essentially. So we're really starting to see where these emerging topics are happening and maybe even narratives that are playing out in these campaigns.
I've seen some of you also did some studies, for example, on how Philippines would use social media, like would they watch influencers or how-to videos. But during this election season, is there a change in like what Filipinos mostly watch on social media? Or
I think in general, the Philippines does over-index on following influencers in general. And I think the main reason for that is that they see them as thought leaders or people that can share a knowledge with them, right? Not just people who are, lifestyle and entertainment. So they're people that they can learn things. I don't think that there's a massive difference between normal behavior and what's happening here. What we do probably see is an uptick in the number of maybe public announcements and endorsements and people talking about certain candidates. There's an uptick in that, but that comes naturally as the campaign moves into its heart, right? So I don't think there's a massive difference, but I do think that especially with short form video in like TikTok, we're definitely seeing an uptick as the campaign continues along.
Given the potential, but as well the limitations of the platform, what should people remember when they consume all these data that you guys generate?
I think the key thing to remember is that these are people that are willing to contribute on publicly available posts. And I think that's important to remember that there is still what we call silent majority sometimes. So it's not always going to determine the results of the election as it will be, right? I think it's important to remember that not everyone likes to post about how they feel about candidates or what their real feelings on a candidate are. I personally don't, right? I like to follow, I like to, as they call, lurk on social media. And about 90% of those are silent majority people who will probably view the content but won't publicly contribute themselves.
All right, and in closing, can this be used to fight fake news?
I think you'll see that we are already helping in some of those cases around some of this stuff. We have some proprietary work that we do that address things like identifying bad actors, campaigns that are purposefully trying to create like troll farms or attack campaigns, and even identifying misinformation or disinformation. So we're doing a lot of that work already. And there are not just political campaigns that are looking at this or public institutions, but also private and commercial, right? These things are happening for everybody and not just politicians.
Okay, thank you very much. As we say, maraming salamat, Mr. Weldon Fung, Enterprise Strategy Lead for Southeast Asia Meltwater.
Bilang Pilipino.